Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Heini. I'm Heini, and today we're going to do a beginner's yoga sequence. You might be doing your yoga for the first time, that's perfect. You might have done yoga for years and you're just looking for a new sequence, that's perfect. Everybody's welcome to join in. We're taking it nice and easy, we're going to go back to basics. Let's get started. For today's sequence, couple of yoga blocks or couple of books or boxes that you could use as blocks would be quite handy props. We don't need them in the beginning, but have them somewhere next to your mat, ready for a bit later on. And we're going to start from lying down on the back. So find your way into a resting pose. We call this Shavasana pose, the yoga resting pose. You could have your legs extended all the way down on the mat, or if it's better for your back or maybe your hips, you are very welcome to leave the knees bent as well. That's sometimes a bit easier on the lower back. We're going to first focus on our breathing. So once you are lying down on your back, bring your hands to the bottom of the rib cage, so where you can feel the lowest ribs, the upper abdomen. Allow your hands to rest there. And breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth 3 times. Take a few slightly deeper breaths in and out. Let the inhalation move all the way down to your hands. And with exhalation, feel the hands, the rib cage sinking back in. And then let the breath calm down and continue inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So as much as possible, we breathe in and out through the nose in our practice today. We'll take another few calm, maybe a bit slower breaths in and out here. Still sending your breaths down to your hands, down towards the bottom of the rib cage. Good. And then with your next few breaths, bring your hands and arms down. And bend your knees, step your feet onto the mat. And we do just a few windshield wiper movements. So have your feet on the mat and start to swing your knees, your legs from side to side. Just releasing any tension there might be around the hips in the lower back. Let's do a couple more swings. And then bring your legs back to the center. And from here, bring your left knee towards the belly, towards the chest. You could still keep the right foot on the mat. Just hug the left leg in. And then bring hands to the back of that left knee or thigh. We're going to inhale, hug the knee in. And then exhale, straighten that left leg up towards the ceiling, like you're reaching the heel or the toes up to a point where you feel there is a gentle stretch at the back of the leg. One more breath in and out there. And then with your next exhalation, bend the knee again and just hug the knee towards the chest. We're going to do 2 more rounds. If you feel that you want to do a bit more intense stretch, you could straighten the right leg all the way down. With exhalation, again, start to straighten the left leg up. Let the hand support the back of the leg and try to keep both buttocks down. Try to keep the shoulders soft. 1 more breath in, reaching the leg up. And then again, as you exhale, bend the left knee and hug the knee in, breathing in. One more time. With exhalation, straighten the left leg up. Keep breathing, and keeping shoulders soft. If the stretch is too intense, you can always bend that right knee. And then exhale, bend the left knee, hug the knee in. And if you have that right leg straight, now extend the right leg and step your left foot on top of the right thigh, like you're leaving a footprint onto the right thigh. Inhale, and then as you exhale, to slowly start to bring that left knee towards the right side of the mat. Allow the whole pelvis to kind of tilt towards the right side. And we're not going to push the knee down. We'll leave it hovering off the mat. Just a gentle twist. Try to keep your chest open. Try to keep the left shoulder quite close to the mat. Again, it doesn't need to touch the mat. Take one more breath in and out. And then exhale, come back to the center, onto your back. Bring both knees in towards the chest, hug them in. And then we'll do these movements to the other side. So now hold on to your right leg, step the left foot on the mat. And bring hands to the back of the right knee or thigh. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, lengthen that right leg up towards the ceiling. Now the sides might be a bit different. One side might be more tense than the other. Just notice the difference in your body. One more breath in, reaching the right leg up. And then as you exhale, bend the right knee and again, bring the leg just a bit closer to the belly. Again, if you want, you can choose to extend the left leg onto the mat. And with your next exhalation, send the right leg up towards the ceiling. And actively opening the back side of that right leg. Maybe the knee is still a bit bent. That's very fine. And then next exhalation, bend the right knee and hug the knee in, breathing in. One last time, exhale, straighten the right leg and again, keep breathing. The breath is a huge part of our practice. It helps to release tension, open knots inside the body. And then as you exhale again, bend that right knee. And now step your both feet on the mat. And then from your back, roll down onto one side and bring yourself up onto all fours. And at this point, it would be quite handy if you have the blocks or books quite nearby so you can easily reach for them. We're going to go into movement we call cat-cows, on hands and knees, moving the spine. As you breathe out, round your spine, your back up towards the ceiling, bring your chin closer to the chest. And then as you inhale, open your chest and think about lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling at the same time. Same again as you breathe out, round your back like a cat rounding its spine. And as you breathe in, open the chest. This is the cow part of the pose, coming into back bend. 2 more rounds. As you exhale, round the back, let the head come down. And then inhale, open the chest and try to keep tops of the shoulders soft. 1 more round with your own exhalation, round the back. And then inhale, open the chest. You can look further forward, so you're taking your neck into back bend as well. And from there, we're going to come into child's pose. So now we lean the pelvis down closer to the heels, closer to the feet. And then lean head down, either onto the mat or bring hands under your head. So if possible, lean your head onto something. You could have your feet closer together or wider apart. Gentle opening for the back of the spine. Take 2 more breaths in and out here. And then slowly with your next inhalation, come up onto hands and knees. And from here, step your left foot forward to your hands. You might walk the foot maybe to the center, and then we're going to lean the pelvis a bit down and forward. So now looking for some opening on the front of that back leg, maybe back of the front leg, and check your left knee is about on top of the ankle. And this is where the blocks might be quite nice. Blocks, books, something under your hands. So you could press your hands onto something and just slightly open the chest. If it feels better to keep the hands down on the mat, you're very welcome to do that. Take 1 more breath in and out. We call this the low lunge or the dragon pose. And then with your next inhalation, lean a bit more onto your hands and now start to straighten that front leg. We come into half splits. You might want to slide your front leg, the foot a bit further forward, again keeping some support under the hands. Now we're more opening the back side of that front leg. First inhale, open the chest, reaching the back long. And exhale, see if you could lean just a bit further down. If you feel it's easy to go down, you might use your blocks, kind of lower down, or even bring hands onto the mat. Keep breathing here, in and out. Allow each exhalation to release you just a bit further down. Each inhalation reaching the back just a bit further forward. Take 1 more breath in and out. It could be a big stretch in the back of that front leg. And then with your next inhalation, lift yourself back higher up. And then bend that left knee, coming back to that lunge, back to that dragon pose. You might put your block aside. And from here, we're going to tuck the right foot toes under, lift the right knee off the mat. And now looking for balance. With inhalation, lift your back up, coming into high crescent lunge. You might still adjust where the feet are so you feel you're stable on both legs. The weight is in the center. If reaching arms up feels too much for the shoulders right now, bring palms together in front of the chest. Strengthening the legs, still opening the front of that back leg. Strengthening the core, keeping the back upright. Take 1 more breath in and out here. So breathing all the time. And then with your next exhalation, slowly bring your hands back down. Maybe onto blocks or onto the mat. Bring the right knee down and then step the left knee back to the right knee and come back into that child's pose, leaning the pelvis back. This time, if you want, you could open the knees a bit wider apart. Wide-legged child's pose. And again, lean the head down. You can use hands, arms under the head. And we take a couple of breaths in and out. Make sure there's no pain in the knees, no pain in the hips. Take 1 more breath in and out. And then we're going to do that lunge on the other side. With inhalation, come back onto hands and knees. You might bring knees a bit closer together. And we're going to step the right foot forward. So step the right foot close to hands. Again, you can adjust where exactly that foot is. But check the knee would be about on top of the ankle. So we're not pushing the knee over toes too much. And again, blocks, books might be quite nice under the hands. Let the pelvis come down forward a bit. And then if you want, you can open the chest a bit further up. Again, you might decide you stay down closer to the mat. Breathing in, breathing out, softening tops of the shoulders away from the ears. Take one more breath in and out. And then slowly put a bit more weight onto the hands and now push the pelvis back. We come into that half splits pose, and you could slide your front foot a bit further forward. So if it feels better for that back leg, again, you could have the hip about on top of the knee. And the front leg doesn't have to be fully straight. It could be still a bit bent. With inhalation, reaching the back forward. And exhale, leaning down. And again, you could have your blocks lower down. You could have hands all the way down on the mat. Stay with that breath. Sometimes it's surprisingly much that we can release into pose when we just focus on the breath. Just allowing the breath to move in, move out. We take 2 more breaths here. So you can opening the back side of that front leg. You can even let your head come down. And then after your 2 breaths, slowly bring the chest a bit higher up so that you have space to step the right foot back down onto the mat and tuck the left foot toes under. Lift the left knee off the mat. If the blocks are on your way, you can put them aside. And now looking for that balance again. We're going to inhale, lift the back up, lift arms up. So opening the front line. Remember, you have the option of having palms together in front of the chest. And breathing here. We're going to take another 3 breaths in and out. Back leg knee could be straight or it could be a bit bent. It might help you keep the weight more in the center. Let's take 1 more breath in and out. Soften tops of the shoulders. And then as you exhale, again, bring your hands back down, either on blocks or onto the mat. Bring the left knee down and then step your right knee next to the left knee. And now we're going to stay on all 4s, but for a moment we come down onto elbows and knees. You can either have elbows on the mat or have blocks under elbows if you feel that it gives you just a bit more room between your chest and your mat. Either hands together or you could have your hands on the mat. We're going to do cat-cows again. With exhalation, round the back, like that cat rounding its spine. And then inhale, open the chest. Same again with exhalation, round the back. And you might feel there's less space in the upper back neck. That's fine. Really trying to get spine moving, strengthening support around the shoulders, but without having to be on the hands, on the wrists. 2 more rounds. Exhale, round the back. And inhale, open the chest. 1 last time with exhalation, round the back. And then inhale, open the chest. 1 more back bend. And then bring your spine back to center, back to neutral. If you have blocks there, put the blocks aside. Lift yourself onto hands and knees from elbows. And we come into our peak pose, downward facing dog. So now spread your palms, your hands, fingers on the mat. Solid support in the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Inhale. And as you exhale, lift your pelvis up into the air. So now we come into this triangle shaped pose where we have weight on hands and feet. And you could keep the knees bent, at least in the beginning, and just think about lifting the pelvis away from the hands, head dropping down. So pelvis is the highest point in our body here, like somebody's lifting the pelvis up. Then if you feel that there's space in the legs, you might try straightening the legs more. Maybe heels stay off the mat. Try to take 3 more breaths in and out here. The neck is free, the tops of the shoulders are free. We're breathing. And then after 3 breaths, exhale, bring your knees down. And we're going to come sitting on the mat. So you could swing the legs out to the side and bring yourself into a seat. Good. And take a moment to find an easy seat. Here, if you feel that the pelvis is rolling back a lot, it might be nice to sit on a block. So if you feel that it's a bit difficult to sit upright, bring a block or book under the pelvis. It might ease that seat. And then we're going to come into a seated twist. So once you have your pelvis in a good place to start, bend your left knee, leave your right leg extended, and then hug that left knee closer to the chest. Step your left hand behind you. Now, you could have a block under the hand as well, or just bring your hand down onto the mat. Inhale, lengthen up through the back. And exhale, twist your chest towards that left leg. You could turn your gaze over the left shoulder as well, but that's very optional. So if that's building tension in the neck, then keep your head, your neck more neutral, or even look in the opposite direction. Take 1 more breath in and out in your twist. And then exhale, slowly release. Come back to the center. And now open your both legs into butterfly shape. So we call this diamond shape butterfly pose. And you have an option again using block under pelvis. Kind of sitting on something, especially if you feel the hips are really quite tight or back feels quite tense. Bring hands to your shins, ankles or feet and take a big breath in, opening the chest. And then exhale, slowly start to round your back down and forward. Allowing also your pelvis to tilt forward. So you might feel this pose quite intense in the legs, in the buttocks, along the spine. You might also step hands further forward on the mat. Just make sure you're not pulling yourself down with the arms. Let the gravity and the breath take you into the pose. Take 2 more breaths in and out. And in and out. And then slowly with an inhalation, start to lengthen the back up. You can walk with hands. And we do that twist to the other side. I'm going to take my block aside now. We're going to extend the left leg and bend the right knee. So you step your right foot on the mat. Left arm hugging the right knee. Step your right hand behind you. And then inhale, lifting up through the back. Exhale, twist your chest to the right. And continue with the breath here as well. Inhalation, lengthening up. Exhale, twisting to the right. Maybe turning the head or maybe looking in the opposite direction. 1 more breath in and out. And then exhale, slowly release the twist. Come back to the center. And from there, we're going to come lie down on the back, like we did in the beginning. So now you can put your blocks, your props aside and just bring yourself to lie down in that resting pose, that Shavasana pose we had in the beginning. Again, if you feel that extending the legs doesn't feel good for the back now, bend your knees. You might even do a couple of windshield wipers, swinging the legs from side to side if it helps the back, the pelvis to settle. Then let yourself find that resting pose, Shavasana pose. If you want, you can bring hands back to the bottom of the rib cage or maybe down to the belly. Let yourself rest, calm down a moment here. We're slowly coming towards the end of our practice. It's very important to have a moment to rest in the end. You can also bring arms, hands down to the mat if that helps you to release the shoulders, the arms more. Just notice your breath again. Allowing each exhalation to soften effort, release tension. You might even close your eyes for a moment. We could spend another few breaths in this resting pose. Maybe a few just slightly deeper breaths. You could 3 times inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth like we did in the beginning. Exhaling tension. And then after those 3 breaths, start to first wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring some gentle movement to your hands, your feet. You could even lengthen arms overhead along the mat, along the floor, and stretch your legs away from the arms. So give your whole body one big but gentle stretch. And then bend the knees, hug the knees into the chest one more time. You could rock a bit from side to side. And then from lying down, when you feel ready to come up, just slowly roll down onto one side. So finding an easy way up into a seat, into your final seat. And this could be any pose, maybe legs crossed, or you might sit on your shins as well. And here a block might be quite handy prop under pelvis. If it makes your seat at all easier, then sit on a block. And we'll take another few breaths just to close the practice. Send a few more breaths down towards the belly. At the end of the practice, you might bring palms together in front of the chest and always thank yourself for joining in to the practice and for taking the time to move, to breathe today. And well done if this was your first yoga practice. I thank you very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you. Good. Thank you very much for joining in today. If you liked the video, please click the like button. It really helps these videos. And you can also subscribe to the channel. And if you click that little bell icon, you'll get notified of any new videos as soon as they are on the channel. Good. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.